Hi there. Welcome to the Richmond School District's new series of Numeracy videos. My name is Janice Novikowski, and I am the District Teacher Consultant for K-12 Numeracy and Mathematics. Numeracy is an important part of the district's strategic plan, and this series of videos is meant to support professional learning and community around numeracy in our school district. Our opening video is titled, "What is Numeracy?" so that we can build community around our shared understanding of what numeracy is. The British Columbia Ministry of Education defines numeracy as the willingness and ability to interpret and apply mathematical understanding to solve problems in complex situations and the perseverance to analyze and communicate these solutions in ways that are relevant to the given context. So numeracy is much more than numbers and much more than just mathematics. Numeracy is really using mathematics in your life to understand the world around you and to better understand yourself and others. So it's being able to interpret situations or issues or problems that may come up and use mathematics to solve or understand those issues. So as educators, how are we building numeracy into our daily planning? We're planning through big ideas or curricular competencies, and numeracy lives in many of those aspects of the curriculum. We're continuing to build strong mathematical foundations by having mathematical learning experiences for our students about 1 hour a day. And then we're also adding on numeracy experiences throughout the day connected to other areas of learning, such as science or ADST or physical education or the visual arts. So looking for opportunities to make those connections and have students see where mathematics is living in other areas of learning. So what does numeracy look like in our K-7 context? So in K-7, a teacher has a class for the whole day. And so numeracy looks like students using those math concepts and competencies they are developing in new ways and across different areas of learning. In grades 8 through 12, students are in a specific math course, but we're hoping that teachers are also embedding these numeracy ideas and processes in other courses as well, and that we're all thinking about literacy and numeracy from kindergarten through grade 12, regardless of what we teach. And that can be through developing numeracy awareness around what is numeracy, general numeracy learning experiences, and then also more structured, more formalized numeracy tasks. So what are some examples of what numeracy looks like? Here's an example from a kindergarten class at Spilluckwux Elementary, where students were asked to plan and design an obstacle course. So they took into consideration mathematics such as shape and measurement, and using a referent to design their course and then test it out and make sure that all students in the class could engage in the obstacle course. And then they mapped it out, and all sorts of mathematics is used and applied in that particular task. Also at Spilluckwux Elementary, a grade 2-3 class engaged in a numeracy task where they were designing a class picnic and creating the budget for that. So they were assigned a certain amount of money, and then they had to take into consideration, some of the money for snacks and maybe some for entertainment or activities to do, and then creating a map of what that picnic experience might look like and doing some of those calculations for their budget. So applying what they had been learning around financial literacy. An example in the grade 5, 6, 7 classes over at Quilchena Elementary was using infographics and data and information as a way to understand an issue that they were interested in. So the water crisis in our First Nations communities in Canada. And so students investigated the issue through different ways, through video and information, but that also looked at infographics and data. And how do those numbers help us understand this particular issue and inspire them to investigate a specific community and what their needs are? Another example is at grade 8 at McNair Secondary, where students were given a numeracy task to think about Cell phone usage. So we, on the left-hand side, you can see there did some brainstorming of what numeracy is and if they were familiar with that term. And then we had a recent power outage here in Richmond. And so we presented that as an authentic task to students. And if the power was out and you had only so much battery left on your cell phone, how would you use it? And how would you use some of the information that we could access around how different apps use different amounts of data or battery to inform decisions that you would make for your usage? And you can see students working together and collaborating to really engage in this numeracy task collaboratively on the whiteboards here at McNair Secondary. So those are just some examples of numeracy from different classes in our district. In grade 10, students all write the graduation numeracy assessment for the first time. And you can see here that, again, it's not a math test, it's a numeracy assessment. So students are applying mathematics concepts from elementary school through to grade 9 and 10 concepts across different contexts. So personal, career, societal, and scientific, including one context that is based in Indigenous perspective. So it's, again, can they use the mathematics and apply it in different ways to understand a particular context or issue? And the numeracy process that are embedded in that assessment are also the processes that we're trying to develop through kindergarten all the way through grade 12. So can students interpret the problem and then apply mathematics to help them solve the problem, and then analyze their results and their findings, and then communicate and reflect on what they have found through that process? So again, a distinction between mathematics and numeracy. So mathematics, again, open-ended tasks using a centimeter ruler, measure the length of your hand. What else could you measure? Record your measurements. What different ways could you arrange 24 pumpkin seeds in arrays? Open-ended, strong math task, part of mathematical foundational learning in mathematics. But a numeracy task, I'm hoping you can see, is slightly different, where they're taking that information, but it's not even really a word problem. It's a task where they're taking some of that math information and knowledge and competencies that they've developed and applying them and having to make some interpretations and add some of their own information and judgments into the task. So pumpkin seeds need to be planted 40 centimeters apart. Plan how to plant the pumpkin seeds in our garden bed. And that's going to be different for every school situation, what the garden looks like. What tools might you need to help you think about this task or actually plan it out? Why do you think this is a good plan? So explaining and justifying your plan. And then how will you share this plan out? Who is your audience that you want to hear your plan? So things that you can do as educators, use the term numeracy as you communicate with your students, with staff and with families. Plan intentionally for embedding numeracy experiences across different curriculum areas. Include the reading, interpretation, and creation of graphs and infographics across curricular areas. And that's one way to, connect data and quantity and measurement and number in lots of different ways across curricular areas. Try a named and intentionally planned numeracy task each term and collect evidence of learning for those numeracy processes as we develop numerate learners across our system from kindergarten through grade 12. There's more information and resources available on the district mathematics blog, on the mathematics and numeracy site on the portal, and our new numeracy videos playlist on the district YouTube channel, as well as some other resources as well. Thank you for joining me today for this video and an introduction to what is numeracy in the Richmond School District.